start off with our acknowledgements. So we would like to honor the 4 nations on whose traditional land we live and learn, the Sinex, the Ktunaxa, the Secwepemc, and the Syilx. We respectfully acknowledge Indigenous people, recognizing that our students come to us with Aboriginal ancestry from a wide variety of ancient homelands. So that done, I would ask for a motion to approve the agenda. Leslie, Alan, all those in favor? Great. And then our minutes for our last meeting on May 25th. Alan, seconded. Jeff, any discussion on that? All those in favor? Todd.
Me?
Good. And so I'll turn it over to you, Todd, for your report on your high school.
I'll make sure I'm set up before I start talking.
You bet.
Yeah. There we go.
So just thank you again for letting me share the excitement of being at Arrow Heights and working with our kids. So I do believe everybody did receive in their package our written report, and where I really tried to emphasize, and hopefully you picked up, is really the positive school environment that we have here at Arrow Heights that I'm extremely proud of. And that's obviously as a result of the work of the staff and the parents that we do with kids, as well as our PAC. And without going into a lot of detail, I tried to highlight graphically just really how many partners we have that really help us provide educational programs here at Arrow Heights and across the district for that matter. And as well, I've tried to comment a little bit in the written package around the benefits of sharing our space, because I know we all receive benefits from that. But also as both schools, because Arrow Heights fortunately has been growing the last couple of years, to some of the challenges that we're starting to see. Part of that is for the Francophone school in particular, as they get larger, they're becoming their own entity more and more. They're relying less and less on us for events and activities and really just overall organization. So it's, the communication line is strong, but it's not to the, it really is to a point where they can run their school and we can run our schools. So that will be some challenges. Space-wise, I've worked with Mike this year because the Francophone school has asked to expand some space, and we've come to a really good compromise where it's not impacting Arrow Heights programs, because that is one component that I really have stood behind is, we want to welcome our partners, but it can't impact what we do here for within our school district in Arrow Heights. So looking down the line, I mentioned it came up at a principal's meeting this morning, there is space as we move forward, but it'll involve some tweaking with a few things, but I don't think it will impact our programming, but we'll have to work through that if that's what comes about. So something I did in September, and this is going to be the focus of my presentation this evening, is on our first day of school when the parents, during our mug and muffin, I put out some little, brought them here, just a little piece of paper on a table, just asking parents and if they would think about what their child, what they hope the child will achieve in their year for this school year. And I didn't get, because parents were mingling and I was busy, so I forgot to keep reminding them to sign it out, so I really didn't get a lot. But I got a fair number of themes. So some of the things that the parents were asking or hoping for were creative, to create positive relationships, to be excited about learning and going to school, so this is, they're talking about their child, to feel confident in their own beliefs, to embrace learning, be hardworking, be supported and with friends, develop socially and to make friends, to learn to enjoy learning, and to think about an act on how she or they can help others. And the other big theme, just be happy. So that's where I really want to sort of try and focus on how we're working towards those parent wishes, and some of the things that we not necessarily have done this year, but we regularly do here at Arrow Heights. So the first one we'll look at is create positive relationships, develop socially, and make friends, because there really were a fair number of themes. One of the things we didn't see was, I want my child to be a math star. it really all was around social and emotional learning, which has been a strong focus for us in the district. So what are the kids, how are the kids telling us things are going? Well, from our MDI survey, they told us that the question was, I care about the feelings of others. And our grade 4s, you can read that. If you pull the medium and high results together, 100% of our grade 4s and 100% of our grade 7s told us that they care about others. When we asked them at school, is there an adult who believes I will be a success? Again, 74% in the high, 95% for grade 4s, and 100% of our grade 7s told us there's important adults in school. So I really think that is a good indicator of the relationships that we've established here at Dow Heights. When I look at being excited about learning and going to school, or that they hope their child will embrace learning, well, we try and really get our kids to have an experiential learning. I really think, and this is where, I think we're already moving in the right direction around the redesigned curriculum. So you can see here, we use our natural environment here at Revelstoke. So we've always got groups heading out. Hands-on learning. Here's some students learning in grade 1 about erosion. So what does wind do? We make learning fun. So our grade 1-2 class as well had achieved the reading goals that the teacher had set out. So just a week or so ago, they had a reading camp out. So a little fake fire in the middle of their classroom. They had sleeping bags, they had lawn chairs. It really was a extremely warm environment. Again, Amber Thompson in the grade 3-4 class had her students do the Curiosity Project. So again, that's really trying to meet each student's interests. So I know I spoke about this project last year as well. So rather than say, we're gonna learn how to do research and here's your topic, she said, we're gonna learn how to do research. What topic would you like to learn about? And a completely different focus. And so the kids in the end did a presentation we set up in the gym, almost like the science fair type model. And the excitement of the students in presenting what they were interested in and what they had learned. And really, they learned about research, but we didn't tell them that. Learning to enjoy learning. Well, again, in working with the redesigned curriculum, Michelle Gadbaw's class, who thank you for coming and providing the tour tonight, Michelle.
Well, I know Mike, he knows it.
Most. You're the backbone.
She came to me in the summer and said, I want to try something different with my social studies. And this was really before we'd even really dove in and started looking at the redesigned curriculum. And what she had her, so rather than, let's learn about this area of Canada or this area of Canada, she took a really cross-curricular approach. And it became a focus for approximately 7 months, Michelle. You guys were to it?
About, 6, something like that.
Yeah. And so each student they traveled across Canada and they had to create a road trip, essentially. So they had to figure out where they were going and research all their different stops. They had to calculate out their fuel costs. How were they going to meet? What was their accommodation? So it really was started to getting across the whole areas of the curriculum. They were doing pamphlets and sort of language arts. And on a similar model, the grade 3-4s working with the food initiative and through the residents at Mount Cartier Court had gone down and created some gardens. And so again, same sort of idea, very cross-curricular, looking at language arts, looking at math. Students were measuring the growth of their plants. It was actually quite interesting. They were extremely, I had to throw this photo in at the end of the day today, so they were harvesting today. And just the excitement, they were just literally bouncing around the patio out there, showing us their radishes and one of them. And one interesting little piece, just a little anecdote, this year, well, I think most of the schools have brought in some worm composting that you might have seen. I'm not sure if you pointed that out.
Yeah, I didn't point it out, but it was right outside my room at the very end.
It looks like a paper bin, like a paper recycling bin. So the kids are recycling here from their lunches and with some worms. And they had two different garden plots, one with the worm compost and one didn't. And literally there was twice as much growth in the one with you know. But again, very cross-curricular, you know, and the kids are excited. It's experiential learning, so it's awesome. Being supported with friends was one of the things. I threw this picture up because it was a new process for us this year, but one of our students with special needs, and an older student that that's working here within the school, we created a path process. So looking at how the community, it was a community-based team, so we had everybody from community connections, social services, school staff, district staff. I think there was around 12 of us sitting around the table, making a plan, and for this particular student, we just did the 1 year because we wanted to kind of walk through the process. Eventually, we'll be doing a plan to help transition this student into the community. But you can see the interest in the work that we put forward for this, and to support our students. And we're always reminding our students about empathy and understanding each other. So this is just a little sample of what we did around, I think it was around the Pink Shirt Day, and so the question was that each kid, they had a partner, and they had to fill out a sticky note and share it with their partner on "I like you because." So really, really simple, so making sure they're always thinking about the feelings of others. Thinking about and acting on how they can help others. Well, this year we're really fortunate to be. It was Arrow Heights' turn, so to speak, because we've rotated through each of the elementaries to send a team off to the We Day celebration in Vancouver, which was just an absolutely wonderful experience for the kids. They really did see the work that people like meant more to me than that age group, but Henry Winkler was speaking, but some really, you know, high profile entertainers and spokespeople, just reminding the kids what can be done to help others and how they can help in their community. And so, you know, we've had our grade 7 group that went down. They one of them, working with David, created a video for our refugees to give them a sense of what it's like to be in Revelstoke. The grade 7 group as well held a big fair early this spring to raise money for Sierra Leone, to help children in the hospitals, you know. And again, working with our PAC. Our PAC does half a dozen or so lunches. We do school-wide lunches. We bring all the kids into the gym. So it's that, you know, working together, teamwork, helping one another. And of course, we're constantly budding kids of different age groups together, so that they're having, again, just that whole concept around creating empathy and understanding for others. One of the comments was they wanted their child to feel confident in their own beliefs. So one of the kids said, well, how can we indicate that? Well, I'm certain I can learn the skills taught in school this year is a sample question from the MDI. 85% of our grade 4s told us that they have a high level of confidence, and 100% of our grade 7s. So we'll work with that 15%. You know, some of the grade 4s are still, you know, they're coming into their own, but making sure that they understand where their strengths are. What's important for school for the kids? What do they tell us? Well, 70% feel it's important to make friends, and we know that because connections are important. 84% want to get good grades, and that's, you know, for our clients, our students, they are always working hard and doing their best. That's something we really emphasize. Grade 4, 75% want to learn new things. So, you know, it's always hard to tell what are great statistics when you're looking at numbers like this, but I think that's, you know, those are very positive results. So overall, remember, parents wanted their children to be happy. So I was really pleased this year because I think one of the indicators that we have is what are parents telling us as well. So on our satisfaction survey that we put out through the BC ministry, parents, first of all, we had 48 returned responses this year. So when you think about that, so that's grade 3 and up. So that's, and I didn't actually do a count, but I would say 75 families.
That's more than we had district-wide last year, Todd.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, you know, We've gone back from electronic to paper.
Mhm.
So we send a paper one home, we get it back, and then I have the secretary help enter those results in.
Mhm.
But now that's not 48 families, because some of those families will report on multiple children, right? But still, I think that's that tells me parents, number one, are engaged in their school,
Mhm.
which is great. So one of the questions was, are you satisfied what your child is learning at school? We had 90% positive response, so that's many or all the time. That's how the satisfaction survey works. Are personal differences respected at your child's school? Again, 90% response. And do you feel welcome at your child's school? 98%. And that one in particular I'm really proud of, because we have to work with our parents, and if our parents don't feel welcome at a school, it makes the job for the child very tough.
That's excellent.
So, told you it'd be quick.
For 15 minutes, you said 15 minutes, you are bang on 15 minutes, nice.
I really want to close just saying, you know, as everybody knows, I will be moving on to Big BDU next year. And so I've been at Arrow Heights for 8 years. When I came, one of the things that Ann Cooper, superintendent at the time, had asked me to try and do was to help bridge the students and parents' connection to the school. And I'm really proud with the work that not me, but the staff has done in that regard. Because I hope I've indicated tonight that we really have come down that road, and I think we've achieved success in that way. We chose the acronym CARES on purpose because we really wanted, because that was our vision, that we did care about kids. And I really think, again, our staff, our students have shown that they care about one another, and just as importantly, the staff care about the kids. So basically, in closing, I really want to express my gratitude to the staff, the students, the parents, for the support I've received as principal in my last 8 years here at Arrow Heights. I came in, as many of you know, out of a high school setting with very little elementary experience, and the staff was very patient with me. They guided me, they led me, they learned from me too, I hope. It's always my dream, but I certainly have learned from them, and I really appreciate that. So I just really want to thank everybody. I can't say it's not an easy move, because it is such a caring environment here, and I really feel cared for as well. So, thank you.
All right.
Thank you, Todd. Any comments from the trustees? Elmer, go ahead.
As a parent,
Wait, start again.
Sorry, you're at the
As a
trustee
trustee,
table right now.
Put on the right hat.
but, no, just kudos, whenever I do drop by, there's always parents around and whatever, and I just have to pass on through the PAC meetings and whatever, just a general, appreciation for just how close you are with the community, especially the Arrow Heights area. So congratulations.
Thank you. I really hope I can take that skill to Big Video as well.
Alan?
Yeah, I would just echo, though, I think it's not just an impression, it is a reality in terms of this school being a welcoming school for everyone. And I've talked to people associated with the French school and Red Wagon, and they just feel right at home, that they're part of the school, they're welcome. And then, in terms of, I think I just calculated, I think I've had children, stepchildren, grandchildren through here for the last 35 years, and it's always been a school that's, the culture is one of welcoming and creative learning. You can see that when you go through the classrooms. It's, when we talk about new curriculum, well, new curriculum's been going on for a long time.
Yeah.
And because everything is about learning is fun and relevant, and so, yeah, no, it's a great school.
Okay, Leslie, anything? Jack?
Well, just congratulations, it's a good report.
Jeff?
I think you've covered every factor in CARES
Mhm.
very, very well.
Thank you.
So,
Yeah.
that's excellent.
Yes, it was an excellent report, Todd. Thank you very much. I think I mentioned this last year too when we were here, that this school always has a special place in my heart, because I was here for 12 years. And I go into some of those rooms and I go, I remember that kid crawling on the floor. Maybe it's almost as long as Alan, I guess, because I talked Mary Beth way
Yep.
back.
Mary Beth, then.
That was 30 years ago, or whatever it was. No, I always age myself when I do that.
Yeah.
But so thank you, and again, pass on our thanks to your staff, to your college staff, and students.
Let me just say a few words about the
Sure.
report.
Go ahead.
Thanks very much for the written report too. What I like about our discussions early in the year regarding the written report was it's a lot of work to put that report together, but it's a really nice standalone document. And your document has a really great balance of saying, here's what we're doing that we're proud of, but also here's the areas we're working on, because everything's not perfect all the time, because education's messy. And the fact that you've got for example, your diagnostic math assessment data in there, for everybody to see that that's what we're tracking, like this is what we're doing. And that's just a piece of it, but you did a great job of that. And I don't want to understate the importance of the principal role in terms of bringing that together. You've got outstanding staff, but outstanding staff are busy in their classrooms. So if they don't have a leader that's helping with the overall tone of the school and making sure that's happening, then it just doesn't work. What you've got is individual pockets of really great classroom teaching, but you need somebody doing that work, and you did that work really well. And I don't think you're going to bring it to big review. You have to, and you will, because that's going to be really quite great for us. So, thanks very much, Todd. It was a nice presentation, a good overview. I really like the way you popped that around what Paris started the year with. It's a great way to end, really nicely done. Short. Oh, yeah. All right, thank you. Okay.
Gave Jeff the fork here.
Yeah, you were late.
I excused myself.
Oh, yeah.
We just made it out of there before the rain opened up.
Yeah, I know. Oh, look, the sun's out now. Look at that. So whenever you're ready, Mike.
All right, let me just
Superintendent's report.
Back this up a little bit. Okay. I just want that a little bit bigger. All of this, there we go, okay. All right, so I've got lots of points to cover. I'm happy to answer any questions regarding this month's report, but just I wanted to start with the summary, which there is a memo regarding all the changes. But just highlight these three because a lot of work went into that, the selection committees, and I wanted to thank the RTA, the QP, the parents group, principals, and board for their involvement in that selection process. I think we've always been really very proud of the selection process that we use to select administrators in the district, and I think it always results in where good discussion around the table regarding what it is that's important to Revelstoke and what we're looking for, and this was no exception, and really proud of the decisions that the selection committee came to, and so as superintendent I was really proud to make those appointments in all those areas. Come on, scroll down, here we go. Okay, I'll jump down to a couple, this session in here, and I highlighted item number 27 because I wanted to note that some trustees are aware that you're all aware that Jim Redding was here for 1 year to replace Tessa Davis during her leave. Then when Tessa needed another year, he said, well, you know what, I think I could stay for another year. And then when Tessa said, hey, I'm ready to come back, Jim said, you know what, I don't really want to leave. And now that Bob Rogers is moving into the RTA president, it's going to leave a hole in our grade 6-7 band program. And Jim said, you know, maybe there's an opportunity for me to stay for another couple of years and do that. So Jim Redding's going to move to the elementary band program, and really happy with that decision. We would have struggled in the feeder program to the band when you've got 130 kids participating in band, 40 grade 8s. You don't start with 40 grade 8s if you don't have a grade 7 band program. So fortunate that Jim's able to carry that on. And anybody that was at that epic 2.5-hour concert knows that Jim is passionate about his music. So he'll bring that passion to the elementary.
Will he be teaching full-time?
Mm-hmm. 0.8 actually. Yeah, and that works out perfectly. And that's the great thing about Jim. He was happy to negotiate, what do you need? And we said, well, we need about a 0.8. So that's exactly what he did. So it really works out well. And again, this speaks to the relationships again in Revelstoke, because he kind of came here and said, he really quite likes it here. He's happy to commute home, but he loves being here during the week. He loves the community, and he loves the music side of it too. So it's a good community. Yeah. Number 29, the Deputy Minister's conference calls. There's actually 2 conference calls, and I did not include the second, but I will mention the second call. This one was related to the assessment reporting policies, and then on the heels of that was the announcement regarding the administrative savings. And I just wanted to provide a little bit of an update to the board on that.
because we've just completed that process today, which is why there's nothing in the package for you. But in terms of those administrative savings as they related to being able to direct some more services to classrooms next year, you know that we had made a decision early on in our staffing to move a division from Columbia Park over to Bagbyview based on kind of enrollment shifts. We were anticipating about the same number of students next year as what we had this year, so we were maintaining the same level of staffing, but there was a need for shift. Over the past week and a half, I've asked the principals to really work hard on really getting a good handle on which students we believe are going to be here in the fall, so we have that real accurate count as best we can. Because of course, out of funding protection, every student counts in that fashion for funding. So this morning we confirmed that looking at the Columbia Park configuration with the one less division was still possible, but it wasn't optimal as far as what we've kind of come to expect as what are good class sizes in Revelstoke. So they were looking at class sizes of 22 and 23 at the start of the year in primary and up to 28 in the intermediates, and with that division out. So still adequate, but not where we wanted to be. So on the back of the administrative savings and then looking for some other efficiencies that Bruce and I are doing right now to make up a full-time teacher, we're confirming tonight and tomorrow that we will be actually adding a division to Columbia Park next year. So really what that's doing now is maintaining that division. So overall, the staffing overall in the district is increasing by a full-time teacher and preparation time that goes along with that. So that will be the use of our administrative savings. Plus, yeah. That looks after all of our administrative savings, and we spent it twice.
Yes.
Yeah. Just noting that just recently, so Pam had put in a proposal to a provincial organization looking for funding to carry on the self-regulation program that was so successful this year. Remember that they ran a parent session and 2 professional development staff sessions, and then student sessions as well with Laura Paymont for the pediatrics physiotherapist from Salmon Arm. She did not achieve the total grant, but she did get some of it. And so I met with her, looked at the plan, and confirmed that they're going to continue, that school team are going to continue with 5 opportunities aligned with the professional development days next year that'll bring Laura back to all of our staff, opportunities for all of our staff, but also back for the community and our early learning partners. So that's exciting news for us, because it wouldn't otherwise happen if we not had that team of Pam and Naomi and Connie Howarth doing the initial work this year. Take you down to item number 46 in terms of just to let you know of the agenda for the first day of school planning. The last couple of years we've had, last year we had Dr. Mark Holder here. Previous to that, we've had Kim Schonert-Reichel up for a couple of years in a row to start off our year. We had good discussions regarding all the administrative changes this year, and decided that what we really ought to be planning on that first day of school is to welcome everybody back with about a 45-minute early morning, kind of early in the day, coffee, muffin, welcome back at the theater, have a chance for trustees and the community and parents to come together, or staff to come together, but then really to get everybody back to their classes, or back to their schools, so they have the day to work together with all of our schools having new principals and some new staff as well. So they'll spend that first day back. So we will not have a keynote address on that day, but we will. So I'll be sending the agenda out in the next short while, and that'll go to the community partners, trustees, and to staff. But anticipate an 8:30 in the morning coffee, mug and muffin kind of thing, and a little bit of a welcome in our theater, and then staff off on their way back to schools. And I take any questions that you might have.
Alan, go ahead.
Just 2 things. First is, as I meeting last week with actually your Superintendent's Association executive, and one of the things that was discussed is that whenever we have communication about the new curriculum and the curriculum changes, we should make sure that we're also giving information on reporting and assessment, because there is a concern that what we don't want to have happen is that there will be some sort of a backlash saying, well, the reporting and assessment standards are different than they used to be, therefore they're not as good. And what the last thing we want is for that sort of feedback to come back, and then political decision made to say, okay, we'll go back to doing reporting and assessment. So just that there's a real cautionary note to make sure that we do that. And the second thing, really glad to see that you're doing the Silver Star with the Vernon team. I heard that went really well last year.
Yeah.
And then you'll personally be in charge to make sure that Rita sits in the right spot.
That's right, exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any other trustees? Jeff, go ahead.
Third floor,
Sure.
facility here. I just wonder, is Farwell School eligible for any money out of those?
Eligible for grant money? No,
Yeah.
but eligible for, we need to be, it's our building, so we need to, correct me, correct.
Looking rather
Have
shabby.
to.
It is.
Yeah.
But,
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
yeah, we had a look at it, but within the AEFG, we think there's been several other facilities as well that have been painted in recent years. So we put priority this year for the coming year in Narrow Heights and Columbia Park. And then Farwell is certainly in the mix for coming years. And we also have a reserve set aside as well, but we think it needs more than just a little bit of a, 10-gallon whitewash sort of thing for each project. So that'll be looking at over the coming year.
Yeah.
This is the
Thanks,
first
Jim.
year we've really had an AFG program with funding available that wasn't all previously committed. So we're starting.
Okay.
Good. Anything else, Jeff?
Thank you.
Okay, thanks.
Leslie, did you have anything?
No.
Great, thank you, okay.
Just a couple of comments. To go back to your comments about the administrative appointments, I just want to say that I really felt it was a really good process,
Mhm.
that I thought the board had a good discussion about it, that the interviews went really well. I thought that was a really good process. And in the end, I think that we've made some really good choices. So I'm looking forward to that for the next year or so, or a number of years, we hope. And you've already mentioned the admin savings, so I won't do that, but other than to say, it was frustrating to have to deal with that, to find the savings some way, so, it's nice to get the money back and be able to use it in a positive way.
Yes, for sure, yeah, thanks, Bill.
Is there an election coming?
I didn't want to say that. Did you hear what else happened today?
Yes.
I'll talk about that later.
Yes, yeah.
Okay, administrative staffing update.
Yeah, so really, this was here just to make sure it was in the board package. You've all seen the notices. I just let you know that the notices went out kind of in order to make sure that the parent groups were hearing before they heard the paper or heard in the corner. So these emails I sent directly to parent groups, to staff groups, obviously, and here's public board package information. And also to let you know that Bill will review and if necessary, share, confer a little bit in terms of an announcement, a press release with summary of this, a little bit less information here, but this press release with respect to the administrative changes. And Bill will have a look at that draft tonight and then share with you as needed before that goes out. All right.
Yeah, just make one comment. I'm
Yes.
very pleased that we went internally. I think this is a real plus, to give an opportunity for someone to work hard and
Yeah.
achieve well and
Yeah.
be able to move up internally, so I'm very
Yeah.
pleased with that.
Yeah, thanks for that. And I guess I'd just add that that was, it's nice knowing the strengths of the people that you've got coming in. To that end, mentioning James, and this would be Bruce's likely, this would almost certainly be Bruce's last board meeting. And this might actually be a short board meeting. The one I promised Bruce when he came, I said, our board meetings are an hour long. This might actually be the one. But I would say that in terms of the little bit of a press release and the welcome to James, that we have been so fortunate in this way to have Bruce come and say, I was halfway joking, but only sort of, at the retirement tea the other night, that Bruce said, well, I'm not interested in interviewing for your position, but if you want to talk to me about what I might do there and how we might get along, and I could help you out, I'd be really interested in doing that. But I only really want to be there for three months, maybe 6, maybe a year, but no more. So 2.5 years later, coming in with that transition, bringing HVAC projects to Columbia Park, $1.5 million to this building, another nearly $300,000 in buses, when you figure the repairing that we won't be doing the other ones. Like in 2.5 years, it's been phenomenal, the contribution that Bruce has made. And I don't know if most of you know this, but Bruce starts his week Sunday about 11:30, 12 o'clock at the office just to get organized for the week, and then packs up later on Friday and heads home. So that when he's not here, because he's away doing things at Coast Mountain or his other little bits of ministry work here and there, he's still working. And I know that if I send him an email at 9:30 at night asking a question, I get a response immediately. It's usually a smart, but it's a smart response. But we've been really lucky in that way, and even having discussions with James today, James is coming into us with the right experience and with the right mindset that he's got a lot to learn. And we heard that clearly today in his discussions with Bruce in terms of not being in a rush to see Bruce gone. And we did hear that from some previous candidates, which caused us to think we weren't really that interested in them, because we had some people that said, I get the job, don't worry. But James is coming saying, yeah, Revelstoke is small districts are different. This is a ST job, here's a different job. Coming in and saying he really wants that support. So to that end, Bruce is going to keep providing. We've already got a summer plan, and then September, and then phone calls after that. So really glad to hear that you're transitioning.
That rash just keep coming back.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you know, and I know firsthand because he continues to get phone calls from all over, from asking for Bruce and can I talk to Bruce for a minute. So I know we're going to be doing the same thing next year. So thanks, Bruce. Okay.
Good, okay. Policy 2.1 procedural bylaw.
Okay, this procedural bylaw, Jeanette, we've copied 8 or 10 pages every time we make a small change, and the whole bylaw goes in. It's one little change. It's the change that was recommended by the Aboriginal Education Advisory Committee, Métis people. It's simple. Yeah.
So we have Alan moving second and third reading, and Elman moving second. Any discussion on that? All those in favor? Carried. Good. Thank you.
Good for about 30 pages.
Oh, I tell you, that's right. That's longer than Todd's report, and not near as good. Okay, let's get
But
there.
faster
Come
though.
on. Scroll. Oh, come on, seriously? Where are we on to? Here it is. There we go. All right.
Board authority authorized.
Good. There's an action here. Hopefully you've had an opportunity to read the learning strategies course. Just as a bit of a reminder, I don't know that I think it's been a couple of years since we've actually had a board authorized course come to the board. Because we have ones, jazz band 10 through 12, rec leadership 9 through 12, super fit as one of our other board authorized courses. So we've got a number of really successful ones. This would add, this will be a very small enrollment course, but this is specifically for students with learning difficulties, and it's an excellent looking course. Stacy Grimm did a good piece of work on it. So did Jody Wallach. Came to the board last week, and it would require your recommendation to authorize it. And then there's a little bit of a reporting process we'll do to the ministry after to get it on the website and share it.
So Alan's moving it to seconder. Jeff, any discussion on that?
Yeah,
Alan, go ahead.
just to comment, I think this is good all the way around when we have the local courses, because what, for the teachers, it's usually a passion that they have and the skill set that they have, and they've had discussions with students, and so they see a need. And so my understanding is that every time we've done board authorized course, it's been successful. And the students have really got that personal knowledge, and there's an awful lot of work the teachers have to put in to create it to meet the standards that are required. So,
Yeah.
so I'd commend Stacy for taking this on, and I'm always thrilled to see these.
Any other comments?
It'll be useful for the rest of your lives.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. By small, what do you say?
3-4 students to begin with.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was a lot of work for 3 or 4 students,
Mhm.
but
But they
it was a
they'll
passion, and
benefit,
they said
yeah.
they needed it. Yeah.
Yeah, they need it. Yeah, great.
Okay, all those in favor? Carried. Good. Secretary Treasurer Tisdale. Signing authority.
Changes.
Look at him.
That's right. Yeah.
Tisdale.
Well, the two of them, we have both the Chair McFarland and the new Secretary Treasurer. And we didn't do it before when they had to change the chair because of cost of switching over. So we've gone with August 1st, which should give us enough time to get all the paperwork done. And other than that, I think it's consistent with our current practice, and just changes, gives us something formal to take to the credit union and to anybody else that wants it.
Okay, someone like to move that? Leslie, seconded Elmer. Any discussion or questions? All those in favor? Carried. Education Committee. That was our meeting on the 31st, so we quickly reviewed what happened on the 27th. we talked a bit about what we're gonna do as far as a work plan, and Mike and I are gonna get together to take a look at that based on what the educational goals are for the district that we set in our mission, vision, and values statement. You wanna keep rolling it up?
Feedback, yeah.
So, based on the success of our presentation that we did in April, we're going to do one in the fall, probably just after the first report cards, and this goes back to what you were saying as far as the new graduation requirements and the reporting and assessment, and so we'll put together a presentation to give that to the public.
Great. Okay.
Good. So, and if I could get a motion to receive those minutes. Jeff, seconded. Leslie, any discussion, questions? All those in favor? Very good. Thank you. And the District Parent Advisory Council.
I could just highlight, I think there was, continue to go down to the Art Starts program.
Yeah.
Yes, I'd like to just compliment the PAC, District PAC, to going ahead providing $1,715 for the program, the worthwhile program. Another, just another example, like, you know, how well, like, you know, they support us and what we're doing. So, once again, I really appreciate being on this committee, and yeah, lots of laughs and
It's a good
good
committee,
times.
yeah.
Definitely.
It's a good meeting.
So you're making the motion to
Can
receive
I have
those?
a yeah, can I
Yes,
make?
you
Sorry.
Someday, Albert, that's it. Albert just shakes his head. You know, it's because he shakes his head.
I'm not a rural kind of guy, I'm sorry.
It's not that hard.
All those in favor? Carried.
Yeah.
I think we're done.
We are.
And just before we do adjourn here, I just want to say also, Bruce has been, for a new trustee, he's been really good, but I know for you experienced ones, you probably really were thrilled to have him here to be able to guide us when it comes to financial matters, and so just want to wish you the best in whatever happens to you. And I guess if you come back, we'll take you back.
Thank you. Yeah, for sure.
So we need a motion to adjourn?
Motion to move the camera?
Alan, Leslie, all those in favor? Good.
All right.
Look at that.
Oh,
I don't-
any questions? Bill?
Oh,
Amazing.
Oh, sorry, I forgot to ask questions.
I only have one question, and that's with regards to the learning strategies. Who's going to teach that?
Stacy Grimm.
The developer?
Yeah,
Okay, good.
yeah, thanks, yeah,
Thank you. Sorry, Jennifer.
No
did you-
questions?
Okay.
Oh, we
You
should
don't
say-
have a question? It's
We should
your
say
last
some-
meeting?
No,
say
I
something to
don't.
Jennifer, too.
Yes, of course, and this is your last meeting. So just want to